Hello, unlimited friends. The question today is about death. Abraham calls it croaking. I like the word croaking. So the question is, can I manifest my own death? Because I feel that I want relief from this life. Also, I think death is much better than living. Tried to commit suicide 2 times, but it didn't work. This question was submitted by Sandra by email through my website zmahoon.com. This is such an important question because all of us are concerned with this thing called death. The only reason we think time is running out is because death is waiting. And so let's have a discussion today about what is life and what is death, and how to think about it and feel about it. It's a topic that brings a lot of fear to a lot of people. And what I want to do is to take the fear out of it and help you to understand a couple of things that are going to readjust your thinking about this entire subject and help you to make more out of living every day. Before I go there, here's my introduction. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Zara Mahoon. I write the blog zmahoon.com. I've been teaching Law of Attraction for the past 15 years, and I offer group as well as individual coaching and tons of online courses. So if you're interested in finding out more about my work, please visit my website zmahoon.com. If you have a question about the Law of Attraction, you can share it in the comments and I will get to it eventually, maybe not immediately. Or you can also send me an email through my website zmahoon.com. So let's get started with this whole discussion about dying and death. Why does death happen? So being born is the process of source energy entering a physical body. That is birth. When source energy enters the physical body, that thread of source energy divides into 2. One part is still pure source energy, we call it our heart, and the other part is our intellect. And mind, heart and mind are the 2 aspects of our physical beingness, and the third aspect is the body that we inhabit. So that is when we are born. Why is death part of this scenario? Well, you could potentially live forever. Yes, you could potentially live forever if you believed it, because belief is everything. And I don't know about you, but I, as a child, have heard of biblical stories or Quranic stories of prophets in the old days living for hundreds of years. Human life for a very long period is possible. The only reason human life ends is because there are actually 2 reasons. The 2 reasons why human life ends is, number 1, you want to start over. Number 2, your existence is so painful on planet Earth and there is no way to turn it around. That's the other reason for the event that we call death to happen. Now, Abraham says, and I've spent a lot of time figuring it out, Abraham says, all death is suicide. All death is suicide, whether you go to sleep and never wake up, or whether you ingest something in order to take your own life or do something to take your own life. All death is suicide. And that is because the decision to transition is made from the source part of you. That decision to transition cannot and is not made by the logical part of you. I get so many messages from people who want to die because they think that living is very painful. And all of them are coming to that conclusion through the logical side, through their minds. But the decision to transition is not made by the mind part of you. It is always made by the source part of you. When you come into this life for the enjoyment of the source part of you, and you leave life when the source part of you is done with life, either because the pain of life is too much or because the enjoyment is no longer there. So it's not a decision you're ever going to make from the logical part of you, Sandra. You will never make that decision. So here's what you're saying. Can I manifest my own death? You always manifest your own death. It's a decision that the source part of you makes. And if you are asking to die, but it's not happening, is because the source part of you thinks that you don't need to transition because there is so much that you can extract from your life. The source part of you feels that you have a lot of life to live. The source part of you feels that there are so many things waiting to happen for you. The source part of you feels that your joy is waiting to happen, that life does not have to be painful. The source part of you is telling you to stop suffering and start enjoying life. And that is why you're still physically focused. The next thing that you say is, I want relief from this life. You can find relief from the suffering in your life in this life by changing the way you think your thoughts. Like that, your life can change. Good things can start happening for you as quickly as today, provided you give up all your negative beliefs and your fears. And giving up our negative beliefs and our fears is a decision. It's a decision. You can do that. You can do that. And once you make the commitment that you're going to find joy, that you're going to turn things around, source part of you will lead you to what you need to do in order to get there. The next part of your question is, I think death is much better than living. Sweetheart, if death was much better than living, you would never have made the decision to be born. Source enters the physical body because there is joy to be had by inhabiting the physical body. If death was better, so what is death? Death is becoming non-physical again. What is death? Death is simply the withdrawal of source energy out of the physical body, which leaves the logical part of your existence behind, and pure positive energy is withdrawn from the physical body and goes back into source. In source, there is no contrast, so there is nothing to be enjoyed. The enjoyment comes from contrast. Enjoyment of life is contrast, and source comes into the physical body in order to experience contrast, because in the non-physical realm, there is no contrast. You ask and it's right there. The fun is in the waiting for the gift. Soon as you have the gift, the fun is over. And so you think, because you're suffering, that death might be a better place to be, but it's not. So let's understand life and death. Life, being physical in this body, is like being water. And when you evaporate water on a stove, it does not go away. It simply changes its physical form and becomes water vapor. Water is still there. It still exists. It still has a life. And so, for us, the experience of death is like water turning into water vapor. You are giving up your physical existence and going into a non-physical existence. You don't go away. You can never go away. Source, that which we call source, is like an ocean. And each one of us is an individual wave coming from the ocean, running towards the beach, running its course towards the beach, and then receding back into the ocean when that journey is completed. And so you'll recede into the ocean and then you'll come back as another wave. When you come as a wave, you have your individual existence, but when you collapse back into the ocean, your individual existence is gone. You become part of the ocean. You cannot distinguish the wave when it is inside the ocean. And waves will keep coming. You are part of source energy. And source energy will keep rebirthing into physical bodies. So, Sandra, my advice to you is start living your life. Start living it. The suffering was never meant to happen because you were born to enjoy life, not to suffer. The suffering is a result of you listening to your intellect more than listening to your heart. Listen to your heart. Give up everything that your intellect has stored. And then it's like rebirthing. Literally, you can rebirth yourself in this physical lifetime by giving up all the logical premises that you've stored in your mind. You will be reborn and life will be good. Because if the source part of you, my dear, thought that there was no point in living anymore, you would already have made your transition. But if source has decided that there's more for you in life, then stop suffering and have a jolly good time. Make the best of it. Love you lots, and I hope that this helps. Bye for now.